The Zephyr Dominion ruled countless star systems with an iron grip, wielding technology far beyond the comprehension of most species. Their massive warships darkened the skies of the worlds they conquered, heralding doom for civilizations that refused to kneel. When the people of Velmara first stepped onto the interstellar stage, they were dismissed as insignificant, a fragile, primitive species from an unremarkable world. Dominion scholars catalogued Velmara as a minor planet, barely worth noting. Yet its people possessed something rare, an unbreakable will, sharpened by generations of struggle. When Zephyr envoys arrived, they carried the same demands they had always given: surrender, tribute, obedience. None had ever dared to defy them. Their gleaming armor reflected the confidence of a power that had never known defeat. The leaders of Velmara listened without expression. When the Dominion's emissaries finished, the Velmarans asked only one question: "And what if we refuse?" The envoys laughed, blind to the warning hidden in those simple words. A high-ranking Zephyr official, tall and imposing, leaned forward. "That would be unwise," he said. "Do you not understand the gift we offer?" The Velmarans did not flinch. "Without us," the envoy continued, "your world will be consumed by chaos." Still, Velmara did not argue, did not plead. They only stared, unmoved. Furious at their defiance, the Dominion twisted the narrative, portraying Velmara as an arrogant world that dared to challenge the greatest force in the galaxy. The Supreme Warden of Zephyr, a figure draped in mystery and terror, made his decree: Velmara must be destroyed, not just as punishment, but as a warning to all who might dare to resist. The Dominion's war machine roared to life. Thousands of battleships mobilized, each carrying weapons beyond comprehension. Legions of warriors stood ready, certain of their inevitable victory. But Velmara did not react as expected. Their transmission showed no panic, no desperate pleas for negotiation. Only one message was sent: "If you insist, just remember you were warned." The Dominion dismissed this as bravado. They had seen rebellion before. It always crumbled. But then, disturbing reports began to surface. Velmara was making no visible preparations for war. Civilians continued their daily lives. Factories hummed, undisturbed. The lack of military buildup was seen as proof of their ignorance. And yet, rumors spread. Whispers of a secret project. Scientists and engineers working tirelessly on something vast yet undefined. Spies infiltrated Velmara, desperate to uncover the truth. But what they found only deepened the mystery. There was no fleet, no hidden army, no planetary defense system. No one knew what the Velmarans were preparing. The Supreme Warden scoffed at these concerns. No species had ever withstood the might of Zephyr. Velmara would be no different. The fleets arrived, surrounding Velmara, their weapons primed. The Supreme Warden made his grand proclamation, announcing the planet's annihilation. Billions across the galaxy watched, awaiting the inevitable destruction. Velmara sent one final message: "Turn back now. This is your last chance. No threats, no ultimatums, just a warning." The Dominion laughed, and then they attacked. The first wave of orbital bombardments rained down. But something was wrong. The planetary shields held, far stronger than expected. The Dominion recalibrated, preparing for a more concentrated assault. Yet, Velmara did not fight back. No counterattacks, no desperate resistance, just silence. For the first time, Zephyr felt something foreign, a sliver of doubt. They had seen defiance before. They had crushed rebellions, but never had they encountered such eerie, unwavering calm. Deep beneath the surface of Velmara, in a hidden command center, preparations were complete. The weapon was ready. It was not a fleet, not a superweapon, not an indestructible shield. It was a single device, small enough to fit in a room, powerful enough to end a war before it began. Its creators called it the Key. Decades of ingenuity had led to this moment, a weapon that did not burn, did not shatter, did not leave behind ruin. It simply erased, completely, utterly, without a trace. The Zephyr Dominion never knew what happened. One moment, their fleets filled the sky. The next, they were gone. no wreckage, no explosions, no signs of battle, just empty space. The Supreme Warden's Grand Armada, the greatest force in the galaxy, had vanished in an instant. And Velmara? They went back to their lives. For them, this had never been a war. It had been a lesson, a warning to the galaxy. A demonstration of what happened when you underestimated Velmara. Despite the chaos the Zephyr Dominion had unleashed, their leaders were perplexed. Velmara had not fought back, yet their attacks seemed to have no effect. Determined to uncover the mystery, they ordered their top scientists to analyze the anomalies and find a way past Velmara's defenses. However, the strange occurrences did not align with any known technology. Experts were left baffled. It was as if the planet itself was rejecting the Dominion's presence. Undeterred, the commanders pressed forward, believing that sheer force would eventually break Velmara's resistance. More ships descended. More firepower was unleashed. Yet, as the anomaly intensified, entire squadrons vanished. There were no explosions, no wreckage, no distress signals. The ships simply ceased to exist. This was not destruction in the traditional sense. It was something beyond comprehension. The Dominion's invincible war machine was being systematically erased. Panic spread like wildfire among their once proud fleet. The Zephyr elite, who had never known defeat, were now paralyzed by fear. What they had once dismissed as an insignificant species had, in reality, been their greatest mistake. Their arrogance had blinded them to the true danger before them. Even as their fleets crumbled into nothingness, they clung to the desperate hope that Velmara had harnessed some unknown cosmic power, one they simply could not comprehend. From Velmara's perspective, the war had already ended. Yet the Dominion still believed victory was possible, despite the fact that Velmara had not fired a single shot. The key had been activated. The pinnacle of Velmaran ingenuity, this device was not designed for destruction. It was designed to remove the invaders without harming the Dominion itself. This was not war. It was calculated elimination. Ships and soldiers were being erased from existence, one by one, without violence, without bloodshed. The Zephyr Dominion had spent centuries preparing for conventional wars. Battles fought with fleets, weapons, and brute force. But Velmara had rewritten the rules. From the beginning, this had never been a contest of strength. It was a test of ingenuity. And with a single action, the Dominion's overwhelming military power had been rendered meaningless. As the Dominion's remaining ships attempted to retreat, they found themselves trapped. The anomaly had expanded beyond simply capturing their vessels. Now, anything that approached Velmara's atmosphere was unable to advance or escape. What had begun as an invasion had transformed into something far more terrifying, an encounter with a force they could not comprehend. For the first time in history, the Zephyr Dominion was helpless. The effects of the key were immediate and permanent. Once a symbol of absolute dominance, the Dominion's Grand Armada vanished in an instant. No final battle, no spectacular destruction. Just silence. Thousands of warships, armed with the most advanced technology in the galaxy, disappeared without a trace. And life on Velmara continued, as if nothing had ever happened. Yet, the shockwaves of what had just transpired spread across the stars. Velmara had not simply demonstrated power. They had made a statement. As the realization sank in, fear consumed the Dominion. The first reports of their fleet's disappearance caused confusion. At first, they believed it to be a communications failure, perhaps interference from Velmara. But as minutes turned into hours with no response, the truth became undeniable. The greatest armada in the galaxy was gone. No survivors, no wreckage, nothing. Panic gripped the Zyphar homeworlds. The rulers who once proclaimed their unstoppable supremacy now scrambled for answers. Their advisors desperately analyzed the data, but the more they searched, the less they understood. The fleet had not been destroyed. It had been erased. Even with all their advanced knowledge, they had no precedent for such an event. It defied every known law of physics. As the news spread, fear consumed the galaxy. The once mighty Dominion, whose rule had been built on fear and power, now found itself drowning in paranoia. Species that had once been subjugated began to rise. The myth of Velmaran insignificance had been shattered. Now, The galaxy feared the power of a species it had once ignored. The fall of the Zyphar Dominion was not just a military collapse. It was a psychological one. Their belief in their own invincibility had been erased, and with it, their empire.